Tell you who did it.
You showed up at my house. Oh, no.
And me and my buddy were eating some gabagool. We had to smoke.
My nephew.
Also, Anthony.
Sitting there, and that means
If you don't get to go to.
I didn't stay in the seat last time, and he got really upset.
One person turned around.
What if I want anyone?
Nope.
You haven't got wine?
What about
I
Mario?
love wine.
Good, you too.
Antonio?
Brother and cousin.
No. He's not angry. He had to drink.
Me and Matt, I was like,
That was right on his day up.
The first integrated. All the integrated.
What?
They're gonna be great. So sorry.
To come to the I go outside. I'll try to start.
There's no shot he was this field.
In my car already. I just today I was like, and then she gave Tyler a twin give it to
You know which one we're talking about.
Thank you. I would like to what is that white rice?
It's a, sangria. It's a.
And then
Me too, that's my bad. You can do it.
You're like, I would never try.
Oh, we're on YouTube. Kelly, are you going downstairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I am gonna bring that idea. I got most of them. How do I get out? I wasn't planning on saying it, no. He did not. I'm not sure. I don't think it's to be flushed. I don't think it was total flush. I don't like that. Hold on, my John talking about. Oh, dry. I've been on 5 years of medicine.
All right, yes.
Smells like wine.
Smells like wine? There's a reason for that. What'd you say?
Walking.
Yeah.
Whoa. You don't cheer to breath. You literally do. No, nobody says that.
No, you say Nostrovia.
Is that Russian?
Yes.
Is it?
Oh, it's Russian, Polish, yeah.
You're actually supposed to do that with vodka.
You can do it with wine. You can do it with anything. Yeah, good idea.
I can start them out.
There you go. There you go first.
Did you see my response? I would.
I wasn't there. All right. Here, man, here, who wants a beer or
Oh,
seltzer?
you're doing your thing. Okay, you want me to help you pass this out?
Okay, I just want, I'm gonna take your time, so
Yeah.
I apologize, I will not interrupt your party.
You're welcome. It's not a-
Graduation ticket, and,
I don't have graduation, because I have pudding tickets.
yeah, that's when we graduate,
There are
really.
6 tickets in here for your, if you need more tickets, first of all, I know there's several of you that only need 3 or 4, so check with your groups, but I have a whole bunch.
How do we apply for more?
The union?
Wait, hold on, listen.
Yes, there's lots of, there's several people that have told me today already, and I already have a pass, so how many more do you need?
That's a great question.
But there will be tickets, do not let anybody not come to the meeting because you do not have tickets. We have tickets, your peers have tickets, we'll get tickets. It's going to be recorded, it's not gonna be live stream, but it's gonna be recorded, so it's gonna be recorded. As soon as I get the link, I will share it with you, so you will have it forever, and you can share it with whoever is not able to be at pudding, and God willing, knock on wood, that the weather's gonna be fine, everybody's gonna be able to be at pudding. I'm gonna ask that you be there about 11:15, it starts at 12, right? No later than 11:15, there will be a room at 216 in Sulaco that you can put your clothes, go lock it up, you don't have to bring your phone.
You should wear clothes under your gown, though.
Please bring your clothes.
Who did that? I need to know who did that.
You don't change into your gown and your stuff like that. So again, if you need tickets, we've got lots of them. My biggest concern, and the only reason I wanted to hand it out myself is last name. I'm really, really worried about first names, we've been talking first names for years, but last names just in case. So Alyssa,
Juana Valanta? She's not here yet.
Chris, would it help if they recorded how they want their name said or read?
like they do at DOC.
For Dr. Yeah.
Oh, there's one comfort.
What's that guy's name? Not out of his name. I got some Amstel Light too.
Yeah. However you want to say it.
Back there. All wine.
Bro, it's
Gilly. You want like blue light, Amstel Light, Miller Light, Yingling? Pick.
I'll take one.
It's like hot jelly. No, her last name. Oh, the boss. For a while. Right here.
No, I thought it was like applesauce.
Don't screw with me. I mean, you go. It's yours. It's Mara. Yeah, not Mara.
Yeah, but Mo rolls her R, and she's from New Jersey.
Mara Murphy, are you there?
Which is weird because you sound like you're from Virginia, but you're from Philly. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Don't say that. No, you didn't. Right. Labatt or Miller? Or IPA. Or there's IPA. There's a hazy. Chris, I'll let you there's Blue Moon.
Say your last name.
Want the Blue Moon?
Say my last name. Valanta. He's not there.
Either one will do.
They were up to you. Yeah, you know what to do. Mikey doesn't have any. Yeah, enjoy.
How's your lemonade? There's another one. Do you want
I don't think anybody else thinks that hard. No.
Say bottom it. No, Kelly did. I'm just everyone get out of here. What? You want one?
I'm just saying. I didn't know I could bring my. No, I'm not. Some sort of clearing number for you. Okay.
I will.
Medium or medium. Do you guys have any questions for Chris? Justin does.
Did you have a good Thanksgiving, Chris?
I'll be around Thursday when you guys are here.
That was a small question.
You don't mind him. I'm sure they're probably they were in the thing. So we don't have to move on. Yeah, that's right. How are you? Good. Where are you working? Oh, nice. I think that's awesome. Good. Yeah. We see a lot of cool cases? Yeah. Nice. Good. Oh, nice. Oh, I'll wait for Chris. Oh. Okay, there's pizza's here. If you guys want pizza, there's one gluten-free pizza. Please don't take it if you don't need it to eat gluten-free pizza. But help yourself. I don't know if you guys want to just get it up high and pass it around. Do whatever works for you. Yeah. Oh, I didn't. All right, so our the graduates are coming at 6:30. So between now and then, I thought we could I could acknowledge people for their accomplishments here. So now I will tell you that I made all of these with love. So take whatever I say with a grain of salt. I don't intend to offend anyone, so please don't be offended. If you are, you can hand it back to me.
Never be offended.
Are you guys ready?
Guys, what's up? This is the most important part of these.
All right, so first award,
Guys, drum roll, please.
most likely to wear a Rolex to an interview and bargain for a higher salary. Yeah. Most likely to wear a Rolex to an interview while bargaining for a salary.
You have the vote.
You have a little.
Does anyone have a plate that needs one?
All right, the
Y'all got plates?
Net Hospitality Award. Okay, this award goes to the person who's early for everything. Definitely gonna get the word. Alyssa Madison.
I thought that was
I know.
I haven't eaten that.
All right, this award goes to someone who is, constantly making little comments under their breath. The Quiet Sarcasm Award, Alyssa Bonavon.
That could have been anybody.
That could have been anybody.
We didn't even know.
We didn't even know.
You're very.
That's pretty awesome.
There's some loud sarcasm. Thank God.
That's pretty awesome. Very well fitting.
All right, this award is for, so this is kind of a two-part award. So there's someone in this class who's always very positive. So that person's getting the glass half full award. Mickey, yours. The other side of that is somebody who is not always positive. Glass half empty. Freeholder.
Never.
All right, so I have a series of awards that a bunch of people are getting the same award. So this award is called the Study Buddies with Benefits. I almost gave it to you. So, first, Callie Mousley and Matt Rabbit.
There you go.
Olivia Basaggio and Okay, so this one's kind of special, so this is going to, Lawrence Fritch and Brady Mansfield, but let's hope we don't hear the pitter patter of Little P anytime soon. Okay, so this person could have gotten one of the previous awards, but instead I gave this person the Day Planner Award for being super organized. Johanna Matsko.
No, don't clap. Nobody else got clap for.
And conversely, the person who could have gotten the award with her is getting the Snooze Button Award. Henry.
There you go. That fits.
Yep. All right, most likely to get PT referrals while walking on the trail. Sydney Moore.
Nice.
I know. Okay, this is another quasi-couple award. Future Woody Kate. Kevin. And future Steve Pheasant. Yeah.
I believe that. That one makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, this person's not here, but we can tell her the AAA award for most miles traveled back and forth, Devin Conlon. Not here. Couldn't travel this to make the difference. Okay, this award is called the My Milkshake is Better Than Yours. For the person who probably spent a lot of her money at What's Shaken, Esther Thomas.
That's a great place.
Haven't been there, so.
This award goes to someone who kind of opened up over time during class, the Quiet Greatness Award. Evan Stiggins.
I've still never heard his voice.
All right, you can get this one. Most likely to have his mom bring his lunch to work.
There were so many other options.
There were.
Are you his mom an honorary doctorate?
Loose Cannon Award.
You know what? I'll wear that with pride.
Okay, Instagram influencer, Kelsey Remission, but she's not here.
prescribe cat-cow exercises, but mostly cows, presented to Laura Murphy. Thank you. Most likely to be a PT for the Dallas Townies. Bob
Right.
Hunter.
Overhead tap. No, Bill. No, it's in Harvard like that. Yeah, that's right.
Most likely to bring tofu to a potluck.
Matt.
Another two-person award. Most likely to be the president of APTA PA. And Pabalco, but she's not here. So hold on that. But most likely to be the president of APTA New Jersey, Marissa Harris.
Oh. One too many glasses.
Most likely to be late for the NPTE.
Henry.
Matt Jones.
Most likely to not show up. I mean, that would make sense. Most likely to not show up.
Yeah. That's not my name award for the person who, no one can seem to get her name right. Morgan, Carlina, Megan, whatever. Megan. Okay, this is for someone who is not very outspoken. The Pump Up the Volume Award is presented to Morgan Russo. That could have been you. This award goes to someone who has a lot of grit. The Resilience Award.
Great.
Most like you think Dallas Prescott. They go fly out. Most likely to be mistaken for Jesus. Rob Wagner. Most likely to get PT referrals during a Spartan race competition. Okay, the Where's Waldo Award, because never. Most likely to be the PT for the CSI unit, because she loves murder mysteries, Taylor O'Keefe.
That's right, she is the murderer. Hold on.
Oh, most likely to be an equestrian PT, stage, but I don't think. The Good Egg Award, this is for someone who is just always positive and nice. Rowan, good end. Okay, and then lastly, the You All Look the Same Award. And it's to Nina Acosta and Emma Hayes. There's a reason for that. No, I did not hand it to the wrong person.
That would have been fun.
All right. So, have somebody eat and drink. We should have a few more people coming, but if anyone wants to ask David some questions, or if you have any advice for people while we're waiting for the rest of our guests.
How'd you get involved with starting your strength program thing, Better, Higher, Faster, or whatever it is?
Kind of what I do, so might as well do it to, start making money.
Well, all right, but what was the process? What was the thought that went into it?
Well, I like to always specialize when I work with powerlifters and baseball players. I don't ask me how. How just is a powerlifter, but baseball players don't ask me how I got involved with that. So what I do a lot of prehab.
Mm-hmm.
I set up strength conditioning stuff for them. And then I'm also ART certified, which is soft tissue work kind of thing. So I do a lot of they pay out of pocket cash pay.
Mm-hmm.
And So that's how I've kind of developed, and it's still developing.
You want another slice? On the floor.
Do you have any advice for people for the exam coming up?
Yeah. So sometimes the state board doesn't process your paperwork in time, and you already have a job accepted, so you might have to do a temp license really last minute. Because last year I was sitting here at the same time, and I was like, no way I'm doing a temp license, it's stressful. I did temp license. And then I did test till April. So it's like between, I don't know what happened, you have to get a background check from the state police, and sometimes when the state sends the state police to call them, they say, well, you have to call the state, and they call the state, and they say, well, you have to call the state police. And it's like 4 days before the test, and you still get your ATT letter. So that happens sometimes. So then you do your temp license, pay $100 to re-register the test for April, and do what you got. That's my story.
Where do you live?
Mountain Top, Pennsylvania. So yeah. Test itself, not that bad. So like, I don't know, like if you put in the work, like it's not that bad. Some people, everybody's mileage is different, but I just yeah. I would learn how to like read the questions first. That's the hardest thing I have, like, because I can be like little like rinse repeat memory kind of guy. But then like the questions aren't like that. So like learn how to read the questions and answer the questions and like deduce how to get rid of stuff. That's like a skill that you might want to practice. And you do that by taking the practice test. Yeah, that's probably like the biggest thing that helped me up my scores.
Practice test?
Yeah, just take a practice test and like
How many practice tests did you end up taking?
So I had more time, so I took all 4 sheets. So I took 2 sheets that we did in school, and then the whole debacle with me rescheduling, so I didn't take the next 2 until like late February or early March. So I kind of spread it out. So I took a test like every third week. So, and then like I studied at work, because when you first started, depending on where I work, I didn't have a big caseload, so I kind of studied at work. Yet again, your mileage may vary, but it kind of worked out really well. Because there were some things I learned in the clinic too that I kind of like made the questions easier. Yeah. I don't know. I think it all helps, like working or taking the test.
How many people do you see an hour?
Where I'm at, like 1.5. That's not bad. I used to do like 8 to 12 minutes. Yeah, it's not bad.
I mean, if you can manage 8 to 12, but like you'll have like notice of that we were talking about the other day.
I mean, it's tough because sometimes you have to, like, where I work, like, people show up on like the wrong day. Sometimes I can't go hard.
Like,
No. Yeah.
Did you start working there? Is that where you were working before you graduated?
Yeah, so I accepted the job before I graduated. And then I had to start date February 6th, that's January 5th. So it was like January of like 19. Hey, I get this. You're like, oh, I work in outpatient, and then I go, and then like I go to like different units. Yeah. Oh my God.
Did you hear that? They said that your cahoots are like, they're famous, yeah.
Yeah, Maddie's the quiz one, Matt.
You guys want something to eat or drink? You want to offer some to our doctor?
That would only be right.
He just took the box. All right.
You are so.
Is that what's supposed to happen?
Just in my
A little bit.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we'll have people come over this way.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like they sometimes people are you guys just sit over here.
The blue. The light is blue.
Yeah, it freaks me out. You don't like subtitles. I'm sorry. Subtitles is the way you're supposed to watch shows. It's the words.
I agree.
It makes it harder to watch when there's no words. Like, you just read. I don't like reading. Sometimes I don't hear what they say. No, they didn't have it. Wait. Hold on. You guys have videos in yours or no? Zero goes. He just walked. Grand is terrible. All right. Yeah, put it down.
You guys took the box off.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to try
It's the small box, so I assume.
Hopefully this isn't gonna bother you guys.
Yeah. We're playing Final Plans right now. Would you like to be on a drink? You want anything to drink? If we run out of wine, Rob can change. If we run out of wine, Rob can change water to wine. I'm drawing my hair out.
Wait, Levi's on the call? We should send him the link. So I'm gonna get on it. Yeah.
One IPA, one Stella.
Well, for how much you? Yeah.
Who is likely to cause unintentional damage.
Thank you for coming, Levi. But it's funny because I was very I needed someone to
What we gotta do.
So it's not making it turn the camera.
I did. Like directly my face. No, not at all.
James, I was really enjoying just staring at you. That was nice. Pretty sad.
Is anybody on it?
We're gonna get started. So, everybody. Oh, good. All right, guys, we're gonna get started because we have a lot of people here. I'm just gonna, so I think everyone knows everyone who's sitting here, but just in case you don't, Ed Warnick, Miranda Perry, David Havert, Michaela Klimas, Sarah Schertler, and on line we have Levi Roberts, Ashley O'Malley, Kelly Soroka, and Alyssa Prouty. So, and Alyssa and Kelly, and I'm sure other people, but Alyssa and Kelly specifically said if you have extra questions, they are more than happy for you to just contact them separately if you don't want to ask your questions now. But what I'm going to ask people to do is just, I already asked David this, but some advice about how you studied, and then we'll kind of open it up for questions or any advice you have for studying, especially studying, and then we can ask questions about work. So.
And how does it feel different sitting on that side of the table?
Scary. Don't know how I got here.
Yes, you do.
You're having flashbacks?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Sarah, you want to go first?
How I study, I feel like I just kind of hold myself up in the library or something for long extended hours. But I pretty much broke it down to like I'll do like a little bit of, say, morning I did like neuro-based stuff, and I picked topics that I felt I needed to look over, and then in the afternoon I switched it to whether it was musculo or the other systems, and just kind of worked on things that I felt like I needed to go over, and just kind of flip-flop back and forth through the days.
And I'll just add, I met with Sierra a lot after she graduated. So, I mean, when I said that I would be, like, we would be available, we were available. I did talk to Sierra about maybe not studying quite so much.
Well, I felt like that's what I needed to do.
Yeah, and it worked for her, and she passed. So, there's that. Michaela.
So I kind of did similar to what Sarah did. The science building stays open even when campus is closed, so that's really nice if you're local. But I kind of broke it up partially with like what I didn't feel confident with, but then also remember what they told you in score builders. Like musculo is the biggest of the tests, so kind of use that to your advantage. Like not to not look at anything, but kind of prioritize. Okay, what are you going to see the most of? Kind of take it from there. I did try to like give yourself some breaks. It's very easy to be like, oh my God, but then sometimes like I felt if I sat for too long and then I was like looking at something, I'm like, I'm not retaining any of this. Like put your phone down, put anything down, go like take a walk, anything. I tried to stay off my phone, but then that kind of bit me in the butt sometimes because then I was like waiting to go on my phone. So then like give yourself some good breaks. If you have like playlists that help you kind of like focus, that's a really great thing. Yeah, I kind of just broke it up like content-wise. I also kind of went back to books and then also like YouTube videos, kind of look up like certain concepts that either I just haven't seen it in a while, my notes didn't really make sense anymore, like I just needed a refresher, a different perspective for what I was looking at. That also really helped me. I also met with Kelly and Bill a lot.
Did you tell me pieces did you take?
I did 4.
You did 4, okay. Dave did 4. Miranda?
I did 4.
Okay, and then how did you study?
Oh. Okay, so I think like right now it's super easy for you guys to compare yourself to each other and like your study methods. And I found myself doing that. Like there are people like Michaela and Sierra, like they could sit down and read and just like kind of cut themselves off. I cannot do that. I cannot read a book and retain any information from it. I got nothing. So what I did was I bought, so I did the 4-piece and then I bought the score builders test and then I bought the therapy head, whatever I bought those. So I just like took practice question after practice question after practice question, and they all have rationales underneath it, like as you know. So then I would be like, okay, why did I get this question wrong? And I'd read through the rationale, because I then only have to read a paragraph at a time and retain that information instead of reading the entire book and being like, oh my gosh, like what am I supposed to get from this? So by the time I took my test, I took like over 1,500 questions. I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm bound to have some information on each topic. So don't feel you have to lock yourself in your room and just read and read and read. Like Dave was like, oh, I'm 3/4 of the way through the book, and I'm like, yeah, okay. I just like I can't study like that, and I've never been able to study like that. So super important to like stick to like what you know works for you, and don't compare yourself to anybody else, because that's going to get you the furthest. So I should practice questions forever and ever and ever. And then I went back and retook the score builders test, and then like would cover it with like half a folder and read the question, and then look at the rationale again. I did them multiple times because I thought that's just how it worked, and it worked. So just do what you got to do. Don't compare yourself. I did not sit in my room for hours at a time. I can't do that. So go shopping with your grandma. Like I went to visit my boyfriend and stuff, and he was like an hour and a half away. I would put the who's that guy? The clinical files. Instead of listening to Spotify on the way there, I'd listen to the clinical files like as I was driving. Like whenever it kind of fits into your life too. Like I know it can be different for months and stuff now, but I think you need to make sure you go out and do those things. Like take those big breaks, like Michaela said, that's super important.
So for those of you who don't know who Kyle Rice is, he had a podcast called Teaching Hustle. And it's decent. You know, some people like it, some people don't like it. But he does take a question, and then he spends a half an hour going through the question, the rationales, why you should choose it.
15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
Per question.
Yeah.
So he'll do like the question, you do the answers, go through it sentence by sentence, and then go through like how you would kind of take it and be like, okay, A is X, Y, and Z, and it's like, well, I like this, but I don't like that. Like, I'll keep it in my back pocket, but I think there's a better answer. Just kind of go through it that way. And then explain why the right answer was the right answer based on what they asked.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get like a lot of information from that, but like as a supplement, like I left 2 wells in the shower when I was driving, like that sort of thing, to add more things in.
Also, that's like a good way of like trying to figure out how they're asking questions. Because I know I struggled with just standardized tests in general and answering the question for what it's asking. So kind of getting that as supplemented, plus with Mo and Kelly's help, trying to find like a way of test taking strategies.
And that's like what I said, like, learning how to answer the questions is the biggest thing. So like,
You're ridiculous, because like a lot of you guys are gonna do this too. You're gonna read a question and it's clearly asking you one question, and he'll be like, well, what if, and then like going through a quick answer what they're asking you, like not what you think they're asking you. They don't care about that, and that's how he is like super analytical about the question. Like you don't need to do that.
and then I spam that base camp for like 2 months. Well, I had like a longer period of time, but like I was just like a monkey sitting there, just like tapping like. Like I just spam that information, just have it in my head. So like that helps.
Yeah, and also, so Basecamp that's great if you feel like you need some basic knowledge. Like it really is a good study.
But it's like all of a sudden. The only problem is like sometimes like you'll know everything in the question except for like one word, like physical therapy related. You're in the middle of testing. I mean, you just gotta pick one of them to move on. Like that helps with that. Like random physical therapy trivia like that might show up on a test. Like that helps with that.
Well, and I think like I didn't really like Basecamp that much, but some of the questions, like in the answers, like the answer might be wrong, but you might be like, oh, this is a topic that we need to look at. So it kind of brings up topics that you might not be thinking about that you could then go like look that up. So it kind of gives you some of those. I don't really like the questions on there, but.
Yeah, they're not related. They're not like test questions.
No.
Just like simple knowledge questions.
Yeah, the basic knowledge questions. So if you're scoring low in knowledge, like that's something to use. But if you're not scoring low in knowledge, then you could just use it as a supplement. Ed, what do you have to add?
So, to kind of set the scene here. When I started with the online stuff with COVID, I was taking most class, and I thought I was studying very well, and I was not doing well at all. And I would call her after every test. And I'd say, Mo, I swear to you, I'm studying. And I suck. I needed to find a way to do this, and I started making Kahoots. And I found out that game related was very important to like how I studied, because I could not just sit down and read a book. I needed to make it fun for me. And I also used the crap out of Basecamp. Basecamp was huge for me because it helped make it like entertaining. It went through like different stuff. It was like, okay, I gotta reach the next milestone, and then that's how I would get there. And I'd find topics that I wasn't good at, and then those would be the ones I went and studied through the book. The problem with that was I realized that I was getting fatigued towards the end of the test. So when I would take my peaks, I would do really good to start, and then I would start tanking towards the end. So how you structure your breaks is also going to be very important. It's your time, use it how you want. You get that one untimed break, you do whatever you want with. I think it's 15 minutes. I'm pretty sure I just sat outside of the house. But then I did not use the other breaks. So I called an audible on that one. I realized that I was doing this. So I was like, I'm just going to take a break for a long time, and then I'll go on the
So you were allowed to leave the testing center?
I didn't leave. No.
Just outside the testing center.
But so if you were like me and you like Kahoots, they're game related, Basecamp's a really good way to like get you there. That really helped me structure like what I need to do, where I need to go, and it kept it interesting enough for me that I was able to just keep grinding it out. Also, you can get the app on your phone, so if you're sitting in clinicals, if you're sitting at your job doing whatever, you can just bust up the app and just grind through it, and that'll give you some ideas. A lot of those questions will pop up in some way, shape, or form on the test. It's not going to be like word for word, but it'll give you an idea of like, okay, I saw this before, this is how they're looking for it. Primarily, I think that sentence structure was big in relation with score builders and the test as compared to what's the other one?
Therapy ed.
Therapy ed. I thought the score builders questions were more resembling of like what the test is going to ask you, like how they structure it. And that's going to help you, if you know what they're asking you, help you figure out how to use it.
Thank you. Online, Levi, how did you study?
I studied a lot.
We can't hear you.
Oh, no.
Hold on. There's the volume on here. Hold on a second. Hold on. Bottom right.
Levi, we can hear you.
Okay, we're all good.
I think not for the room, but at least we can hear you.
All right. Let me.
Oh, wait.
If you go back to the very first one, you take a drink.
Wait, there's a volume on there. Hey, Levi, try now.
I can't wait for the P's one.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is it not working on that end? Like it's working on the Zoom, but not for them?
Yeah, I can hear you, Levi.
Any idea?
Cool.
Oh, there we go.
You guys can hear now? Yeah, I don't know.
Didn't this happen last year too?
Hold on.
I feel
Most
like,
definitely.
You think they'd learn?
yeah, right? Ugh. How's everyone been, by the way?
I was gonna say, how are you guys?
I'm at work right now.
Are we only
You're at work right now, Mike?
Yeah.
Like, I saw you were at work, and I was like, Lord, I'm glad I'm not him.
I know. My late days are Monday and Wednesday, so.
Like,
Oh, I think they can hear us now.
All right, what's going on? So I studied. I was therapy ed in the morning, so I had to get like really regimented and treat it almost like training, like really what it was. So I was really nervous, like really nervous, to the point where I was going into Mo and being like, holy shit, I think I'm gonna fail. And she was like, you're fine, you're psyching yourself out. So I had to treat it like I'm gonna over prepare so much to the point where I had to just build my confidence through preparation. So I set like a really, really strict like regimen for myself after graduation. Prior to graduation, in my mind, I'm like, okay, like I'm just doing as best as I can. I'm doing my two Pete's. I'm like, this is like, prepping before preseason type thing in my mind. So I like did that and I was like, okay, like I'm studying like 4 hours a day, like max. Like that's all I was doing before graduation. And then as soon as graduation finished, I was waking up at 6:30, getting my like coffee, getting my food in, and I would study from about like 7:30 to noon, like straight through as best as I could. And the way I did it was I would take my therapy ed book and highlight like big sections after I would cross analyze my Pete scores. So the big thing for me that helped is like I took 4 Pete's, and every time I took a Pete, I sat down with Mo and we went over like my big flaws and my big sections that I was really struggling with. So then I would make a list of those topics that I was really struggling with and then create like umbrella categories. So like musculo, neuro, like all that stuff, but then under them was the specifics. But then around noon, I would take a break for about an hour or two and I would go to the gym. And then after that, I switched to base camp. So my mornings were all like textbook stuff. And then my afternoons were all base camp, really trying to just like take more and more and more questions. So I wound up taking like so many freaking tests. I did four Pete's and three therapy ed, I think, exams, and then all the base camp stuff as well. I mean, it was a lot, but that's how I like to study. Like I can't just like, again, like Miranda was like, I can't read the book. And like, I was the same way because I could just sit down and read the book, but I wouldn't retain anything. So I felt like whenever I would do like that morning section, I would like analyze everything. And then the afternoon was spent testing on the stuff I just studied, if that makes sense. That's basically it.
Thank you very much. Kelly, do you want to go next?
Yeah. So I'm a psychopath and I handwrite out. So what I did, I used the FSB PT and the Score Builders apps every day to go through the question of the day. And that just kind of helped me like keep track as I was studying with just like a one question, like, okay, can I take an actual test question and like basically learn how to read the question and what they're asking. Like the other people were saying, like, that's the biggest thing. And I think that was really helpful, at least for that. And then if I didn't know the knowledge piece, like I found that I could kind of like work my way through the question, even if I wasn't exactly sure what the answer was. So that was helpful in terms of just like strategy. For knowing what to study, I went based off of the Pete's and then used like an Excel spreadsheet and would keep track of all of the questions that I got wrong and then like what they were asking, what like category they were, like neuromusculo, other systems, whatever. And then those would be, if I got like mostly neuro ones wrong, then I would really focus hard on neuro after that Pete. And then I would like still study in the musculo because those are the biggest two, the cardio stuff and that kind of thing. But whatever section I saw that I did the worst on, that's where I would shift my focus. And that's kind of how I did it after each P. And then as I analyzed through questions, like the ones that I kept getting wrong, those were the things that I would keep going through and then just like finding different ways to look at it or learn it. I mostly used the Score Builders book for studying, and I would kind of just go through to the topics that I knew that I needed to look at and go through the Score Builders book. I started using Basecamp and I used the like little quizzes and like games and stuff at first, but then I felt like it was a lot more like the knowledge base or like very specific stuff. So then after that, I used Basecamp more so to help me find things within the Score Builders book because it'll list out like a topic and exactly what pages to find it on. So that's really the main thing I used Basecamp for, was just finding stuff within the textbook. I'm also not a textbook person. Like I don't do well with just like reading through a book and like shoving that all into my brain. which is why I handwrite out everything and I like do it all in different colors and I like go, it's just my brain works in colors. So that worked for me. So I really went off of the Pete's as a big like guide for what to look at, and then just worked my way through all of those sections on the score builders, and then made sure they list out all of the like big important like gold topics or whatever that are like you need to know these, and then the silver ones that are like these are like less important but still show up frequently, and like based what I was studying off of those things and how confident I felt with that. So that's pretty much what I did. And then I would FaceTime my friends a lot and we would kind of quiz each other, ask questions, and work through stuff together if we really got stuck.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah.
Ashley, what do you have to say?
So, okay. So I started off by reading through the book, and I thought that's how I was going to study. And then I quickly realized that I was not retaining anything because I was just reading and not actually taking in the information. So then I kind of switched things up, and while I was still using the book, I was really using more practice questions and the Pete's. And from that, I was figuring out what categories I was struggling in and what specific topics I was repeatedly getting wrong. And then based on that, I'd go back into the score builders book and look through the actual sections of the book. And then if I still needed more information based on that, I went into notes, I look up things up, I found videos, everything. I also, luckily, I had a few people from our class who lived nearby. So we would meet at like a coffee shop for the day. And while we wouldn't necessarily study together, if we had questions about something or we wanted to go over something, we then went over that topic. So we weren't necessarily doing the whole study together, but it was there to pick each other's brains when we needed questions. So I based a lot of my studying off of how I was doing on the Pete's. I think I did 4 Pete's in all of the score builders. And the score builders I used more as just something to practice taking questions, but also find the topics that I was weaker on. I met with Mo after my last one of the last Pete's I took. And then what really helped me was about a week and a half before the test, I drove to my testing center at the time my test would be, and then walked in, figured out what the area looked like. And then from there, I went to like a Starbucks or something that was right down the road and took my last practice test so I can simulate the day as much as I could. And that was helpful for me because I knew what I was walking into.
Thank you. Were you at the one, Ashley?
Yes.
Alyssa. First
all right.
of all, letting us all use your spreadsheet.
Yes, thank you, Alyssa.
Sure, no problem. So I used a spreadsheet for when I took the Pete's, but I didn't actually use it for any of the other tests I used. But what first thing I would say is like, don't abandon your study habits now if they're working for you, because I remember the person came in from Score Builders and was like, flashcards aren't going to work for this test. I use flashcards. I was just fine. I also really liked going over tests with different people. So like, I know I went over like a test with Levi. It was really nice to see how other people thought, because it kind of helped me like kind of look at questions a little bit differently. Like Miranda, I think I took like 1,500 questions beforehand, because for me, testing fatigue was super huge, because I remember I took my first Pete and it literally just went down like this. So doing a lot of questions over and over again really helped me. And then taking a second break that wasn't like official, really helped me for that. I think that's really it. I think everyone else hit like the heavy hitters.
Okay, thank you.
Can you guys talk about like how you figured out to fuel yourself for the day? Like
So I'm big on salt water. No, like salt water, like you get a bloat and like you're good. However, like good like lunch. I like to like little things. Like I salted up in the morning, and then like halfway through, I just had like some like carbs, and I was good.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I was with you.
No, seriously, like, and then I didn't even take my breaks or anything. I was just laser focused. So
Anybody else?
I am typically a person who doesn't eat breakfast. Like I don't eat until like 2 o'clock. It's just how I am. So I brought like a protein bar with me, like just in case. But I think I was too nervous to even eat it. I think I took a bite of it and was like, nope, not a chance. So, and I know like when I was where you guys are last year, everyone was like, make sure like the week prior, like wake up, eat the same thing you're gonna eat, and then drive this far and then do this. I didn't do any of that. I didn't eat normally before, so I was like, I'm not gonna finish that, and then I just brought a protein bar just in case. So like which what I said before, whatever you have been doing in your life now got you this far. So like don't change anything too crazy. Like don't go like making 3 pancakes in the morning when you usually eat a granola bar on the way out the door. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to change anything crazy. That's what I think. Thank you.
Also, if you have like snacks because you're studying, use those same ones day of the test. Like I kind of just, I mean, when I'm focusing on something, I'm always snacking. So Justin, you can vouch for me with that at the clinic. But like I kind of had I did a protein shake and then like a granola bar and fruit snacks, and then that was kind of my go-to. Like when I start my lunch, whatever, and then day of, I'm like Miranda, I don't really eat in the morning, so I also get a nervous stomach when I'm taking a test. So I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to be good. And I think I did. No. Thank you for asking.
Wow.
James nervous should be done.
You only get to take the breaks at the end of each section, so yeah.
But people in your class have already said, like, they're thinking about what they eat because. Okay.
He's doing manual.
Does anybody have any questions, specific questions you want these guys to address? Jack.
Did any of you take the full time?
Yes.
No.
I think I had like 10 minutes. I think I had 5 minutes left.
Okay.
So do you feel like you should have taken breaks between each section, or?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
So actually, that's good to know. So they took breaks, but they still had at least 5 minutes.
Yeah, I kind of panicked during the entire thing, and I felt like I needed to be away from the computer after my 15-minute break, because I figured it's Stephen Woody's test for 50 questions, and I can just take it as one 50-question test at a time, so I needed to step away from the computer, even if it was a tedious process, checking in and checking out. I need just a mental clarity before going into the next session.
Yeah, I kind of took it as like, okay, that section's done, it's behind me, don't worry about it, take a lap, go outside. Literally, I walked out, I walked back. There's like a long hallway. If you go to the Clark Summit one, you walk in, there's a check-in, there's a little like section off where they treat you like you're going into jail. They're like, all right, lift your wrist. I think I left my hair tie on the one time. She's like, take that off. And I'm like, okay, like, and then there's a long hallway back to the bathroom. So I just did like a little loop there just because. And then that was kind of my like, all right, clear your head, go back in there, focus, because there's going to be some sections where you're like, okay, you get a couple questions in a row, you're like, this isn't too bad. You get to the next one and you're like, what is that? There was one, I don't remember the content of it, but I literally like almost had to like laugh at the screen, but I had my little headphones on. I'm like, okay, don't make yeah, like
And then also at our testing center, there was a girl getting trained for the system.
Oh.
So the entire time, like, they give you these big headphones, use them because you could, like, I could hear them talking during the whole thing. And then also at one point when I didn't have them on, like, you get in and I kind of like dove right in. I was like, all right, I was focused. I felt okay. Once I started hitting questions where I was kind of like, I don't know, and I started not guessing, but kind of guessing myself, I could start to hear everybody flipping. Like, it was kind of like a panic mechanism. I'm like, all right, headphones on. That was gone. I could still kind of hear the murmur of them, but then you just kind of, you have to find whatever works for you to refocus and just like kind of drown everything else out. But you're going to have those moments where it's like, oh crap. And then just, honestly, my boss told me before I took the test, she was like, if it's one that you really don't know, you have no idea, just say it's one of the ones that doesn't count. Screw it, move on, and keep going. And it works.
Yeah, once you feel like you've answered the question, move on and forget about it. Because you don't want to, there's plenty more, trust me, there's plenty more, and you don't want to get stuck on one question where you're looking at it for 5 minutes, and then you're like, why am I still looking at this for 5 minutes where I could have answered like 10 other questions?
And if you think you're going to look it up after, you're going to forget it by then, completely.
I don't remember.
So like I said, I just studied before, if I take breaks, I start to think, and when I start to think, that's when I start to like get in trouble. So I didn't take any of the breaks, or I just went right through the test. So like, I just like answered the question, like I didn't even second guess it, I read right through, whichever one seemed right, clicked it, moved on to the next one.
Now, I think that's a good point, though. Like, if you, like what Miranda said, is don't change drastically how you've been studying and taking tests this whole time. If it's been working well for you, use it. Now, if you are someone in this class who it hasn't been working super well for you, then reevaluate. So Kelly said, I think on average I only marked 2 or 3 questions in this section to go back to. Anybody else have anything to add on that?
So not directly related to that, but as far as like something that helped me on test day. So I think it was Kyle Rice who did this in one of his videos right before the test, and it worked for me. I wrote out all the things that I was not confident on, whether it was lab values, nerve roots, whatever that was. And I wrote it out on a piece of paper because you get blank paper to write on for the test. And so I wrote it every day before I started studying. And I wrote it the day of the test. But honestly, I didn't even really need it because by writing it every day, I knew what it was.
That's great advice.
I also did the same thing. I think he called it like a dump sheet or something, but it was like everything that you know, like you've gone over a million times, it won't stick in your brain, like literally just the front of a piece of paper, put whatever you need to on it and just rewrite it over and over and over and over again until you can get it out of your head to put it on a piece of paper and then completely forget about it. So that way, like, you can think about the things that you already know that are in your brain, and then when you get to a question that has one of those things on it, then you can just refer to your sheet right next to you, and that's like a quick recall. Also, something that I did before the test that I think was an absolute game changer, and I think Marissa came up with it, was a pump up playlist. So like literally timed out the amount of time it takes me to drive from my house to the testing site and make a playlist that's exactly that long with just like all the songs that totally hype me up. And that was like the greatest thing on test day because I got to the site and I was not nervous at all. I got out of my car and I was like ready to go. So would definitely recommend that. I feel like just helps you get out of your head because at that point, like, there's no point stressing about what you know or don't because you know what you know at that point. Like, there's nothing else you're going to be able to shove in your brain on the way to the test. You might as well listen to some songs that like get you in a good mood, get you ready to go, and like just get you out of that like nervous headspace. But I also agree with Michaela about the headphones. I studied with like noise canceling headphones and just like a very like chill playlist. And then when I got to the site, I ended up being like one of the first or second people in. So I just got to my computer and put headphones on. And like, I think it was when I got up for my break, like after 2 sections, I looked around and I was like, when did all these people get here? I was like, whoa, this place is full. So I think the headphones were also a really huge thing because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to use them. And then
it just put me right back into the mode I was in when I was studying, with everything, like all noise blocked out anyway. And I think that was a big thing that was helpful.
Yeah, I can second that for sure. That like I had the same kind of thing that Kelly had. Is like I put him on. I was one of the first people there, and honestly, I like don't even remember taking my first section. Like I don't think I could like name a question or after the test about the first section. I like finished and I was just like you know what I mean? Like absolutely like didn't remember anything. It was just like a purge of the mind. But yeah, the headphones are great. And honestly, I only took like 3 minutes of my 15-minute break. I was too pumped up and I just was like, I just need to do it. And I was feeling good and rolling. And I really took my tests fast in grad school. I was always kind of like I always felt like I was like one of the first ones done. And it was just the way I take tests. I just kind of like go with my gut. And I took 3 minutes out of the 15 and I felt great. I had no fatigue. I like finished by far before the 5-hour mark or whatever it was. I think I finished in like 3 hours or something like that. But yeah, if like basically what I'm trying to say is if you're feeling good, go for it. Like honestly, just like if you're feeling confident and feeling like you don't have like fatigue, I would just keep going.
Unlike them, I would say I was not pumped or not nervous. I was absolutely 100% riddled with anxiety the entire time. Taking that test was not fun. When I got there, they put me at the seat next to the door, and I was the second person in, and I just sat for 10 minutes for people to come in because the door was just opening and closing, and I like couldn't focus whatsoever. So I just sat there.
But you passed.
I did pass.
Mike, we asked people, oh, go ahead, Jacob.
Do you have to start the exam as soon as you go in?
Yeah.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
Kind of. Oh, well, we have.
I could sit there. They didn't care that I just sat there, so.
So they'll put you at the computer, but that doesn't mean you have to actually start the test.
Yeah.
I know there's 5 hours, but did they kick you out if like?
No. It starts once you open the test up, then your timer starts.
So you didn't open the test, right, Alyssa?
I didn't open the test. I just waited to open it until more people came in.
Anybody else that took it, long test takers?
Well, they go
said they
5 hours.
Okay, yeah.
You know, listening is the key part of being
I
a
think
student.
like what his question really is like during class, do you take the
Depended on the test.
Yeah, all the muscular tests, like Stephen Woody's test, like I took pretty much the whole time on them. And I'm like not a super fast test taker. I'd say I'm average, but I'm somebody who like I'll mark all the questions that I'm not sure about, and then I'll go back and look at them on normal like paper tests. So on this, it kind of like expects like you have to flag the ones that you want to go back to, but like you don't have enough time to go back to all of these questions. So I would just flag the ones I either didn't answer because I didn't have like a guess, or like ones that I'm like, okay, I know if I think about this a little longer, I can like figure it out, like that sort of thing. But you're probably not going to have enough time to go back and look at every single question. So flag the ones that are super important. But again, my 15-minute break, I think I went pee and then came back. Like I didn't do anything crazy. And I had like maybe a half hour left of my whole time. So I took kind of a long time, but you'll be all right. 5 hours is enough. You'll be okay.
I was always a longer test taker. I used to do the same thing. I would go through my test in class. I put a little slash the answer I thought it was, and then I'd know if it wasn't completely filled out, go back to it later. I hate the whole like flag the question system. I think that's the dumbest thing in the world. It's annoying. So I wasn't doing it. I think I'm usually like a pretty carefree person, but before the test, like weeks upcoming, I just kind of got in the mindset of like, yeah, I'm gonna fail this, and it's fine. I'll just take it again next time.
That's what, yeah.
So yeah, and honestly, it was the best thing. I walked in there. We had a snowstorm that day.
Yeah.
We were an hour late starting the test. Everybody else was nervous. I was like, nah, go ahead. I'll wait till the end. I started my test like an hour and a half late.
Yeah.
Did not
Granted,
end.
we had the person who was in training, so they had to show her every single person how to do the check-in every single time.
They were
The
halfway
system
through the
glitched,
check-in, and then it glitched right when I was going up to get signed in. I'm like, well, that's not too
the
bad.
seating was messed up. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, they put the girl before me in my seat, and then like they were like, "Wait a minute, what just happened?" And I was like, "I'll go home. It's okay."
You know, I'm trying to take my test not with the headphones on, and I was like, I need to put these headphones on.
So instead of going back and like going through those 5 questions, I was like, this is my answer. I mean, there's a lot of questions that you can kind of sort of give or take. If you're pretty sure of the answer, honestly, there's no point going back and rechecking it. You probably just get the same thing anyway, or overthink it. So pick the answer and move on.
I think I flagged the ones where I was between two, and I needed like another like 30 seconds to go back and read the question, and then I was like, okay, I'll do this one. And then again,
Towards the end, I flagged less. I didn't flag a whole lot to begin with because, like Ed, it really bothered me to see the little thing on the side. And then, like, if I flagged every single one, it would have been a lot. Also, my boss told me, he goes, "Oh yeah, I flagged like half the first section when I took mine, and then I panicked." So I'm like, okay, don't do that. And then honestly, a big thing that helped me, like even in preparing, if you can find anything wrong in one of the answer choices, like if you hear in your head, you say, "Oh, like I like this one, but," that's automatically not the answer. Get it out of your head and find the right answer. Like if you truly don't know.
On the seat, they didn't have like the ability to cross things out. Is that like the actual NCC? Because I feel like I've heard.
You can cross.
You can cross stuff out. You can highlight. You can cross things out. You can do a whole bunch of stuff on there.
So it has more options.
Yeah. Yeah, you could probably draw. I highlighted like
Morgan, go ahead.
Oh, so reschedule to another day.
So basically so Kelly, you can talk about this, but what happens is you either get an email and or a phone call that says like, your test is going to be rescheduled.
That email the night before that just said your test is canceled due to like weather or like due to like some, they didn't even say why. And then that was
the test was canceled.
I called Mo like sobbing. I was like, what the hell? Like, I'm ready to take this tomorrow and now I'm not taking it tomorrow. Like, Mo can vouch for that. It was not a good conversation. I was like panicking, but they ended up sending an email the next day. And I think my site, I don't think they rescheduled it for me. I think we had to go on and reschedule it, but it was just the week later. I know there were a couple other people that happened to as well I think they were in New Jersey, I want to say, but they got rescheduled for 2 weeks later. There's just like this, their site just told them like you're rescheduled for this date. So I got lucky and got to pick and just picked the next soonest one. But yeah, it was an email the night before and was just like, you're not taking it tomorrow. Like, okay. But it was nice. I lived close enough to one of my classmates that we would that was also supposed to take it at the same site. So we would just drive and meet each other in the middle, and we just had an extra week to just like, we basically used it to quiz each other on stuff that we weren't certain about still. And then that was when we really solidified the dump sheet thing, like Ashley was talking about. And just basically just went through the topics that we were shaky about, and we were like, okay, so like, how do we feel about this? And then it gave us a chance to kind of explain it and then really let us figure out whether we were confident about it or not. Which is also just another good study tip in general, is like, if you can quiz each other, that's helpful. But basically that was a long answer to say they emailed us.
Thank you. Good answer.
I want to hear what Mike McGee has to say.
Thank you. I was going to ask Mike that. So like other people talked about how they prepared and then what they did the day of the test, that kind of stuff.
All right. So preparing, I used pretty much score builders through and through, unless there was a topic that I was unsure about. Anything like specific I need a little more information about, I went to that. I wasn't a big fan of the score builders tests that they had, but Basecamp, I think I heard them talk about it earlier. Basecamp had some good stuff just to test knowledge based, like little questions here and there. So that helped a lot. My biggest thing was I knew the knowledge, but it was more test taking strategy. I was first 2 Pete's. I think the first one I took cold, I got like a 530. The second one I got like a 575. And I was right there. I was trying to figure out why I just couldn't make that jump to getting that passing score. So I went over some test taking review stuff or test taking strategies. And that's when I noticed my score shot up. I went to from like a that 575 whatever it was to like a 650. Part of it too was that I was thinking I'd look at a question and be like, oh, I remember similar like this in clinical, and I was seeing clinically based, which, as you guys know, clinical is very different than textbook when it comes to it. So that was a big thing that helped me a lot to see that score rise. And even when I took that, so I took 4 Pete's in total. The third one, my score went up. That fourth one, my score went up even more. And that's when I was like, noticed that big change. Studying wise, I would try to be as routine as I could. Try to make that routine like you're going to be taking that day, day of the test. So eating the same breakfast, something that's not going to upset your stomach. Try to eat something that's not going to upset stomach your night before. Eating the same snack during my breaks. And earlier on, going through the material, I do a little bit longer days. Like I would do like a 3 to 4 hour study session, take like a lunch break, go back to do like another 2.5, 3 hours. As I got closer and closer, I started breaking it down more to more that limiting that 5 hours. But even with that, when I took my breaks, I wouldn't get up from my chair that much because part of it is just the endurance to be sitting in the same spot for 5 hours. I need to keep moving kind of person. So training myself to do that helped out a lot, in my opinion. And then earlier on, I studied a lot by myself. It wasn't until like later on when I would get into groups, usually talking about like Pete, why did I get this question wrong? Someone else would kind of be like, oh, they got it right. So we kind of break it down in that sense. Now I'm trying to remember too.
Mike,
I think that was it. It's like,
Kelly,
say that again.
You meet with Kelly about to improve your study strategies. How did you improve those?
So I actually found one, it was a test from, not a test, a video from Kyle Rice. So I used his clinical files a lot, especially when there were like days where I just couldn't find the focus as much. I'd sit in that chair and listen to those tests, the test questions that he asks, because he breaks it down each way, why this answer is right, why it isn't. And sometimes with some of the questions on the Pete, it's not as much picking the right answer, but figuring out which ones are wrong. So if you're reading this question, you have no idea, you see these answers, they all sound good. Look at all the answers and try and remember what you can about certain ones. Because the second you see somewhere like, well, you would expect this, then that doesn't fit that question. That one can't be right. But Kyle Rice has a video on Facebook. I'll try and find the link and send it to you, Mo, so you can distribute out. But he kind of breaks down what's happening with your scores, why you're doing well in these couple sections, where then these ones you're not doing as well. And it's kind of making a game plan to answering questions. The more consistent you get to how to answer those questions, the more you're going to get right. Instead of just being like, well, I don't know, this is that. It's read the question, look the answers, break down the question, pick your answer.
Thanks.
What's just like the few days leading up to the boards look like for you guys? Like, do you just study or just make sure you, I know.
So, did you guys hear that online? It's like, what did the few days up to that before the test look like?
I made like a dump sheet, or like I call it a remember sheet. I think 3 days out, and I read that the other 2 days, and I did nothing else because I didn't want to burn myself out. But that was me.
Yeah, similar. I think I took my last Pete like a week and a half before test. Maybe went over that Pete 2 or 3 days, and then I did not touch any material for like the first 4 days before the test. You don't want to cram. That's the big thing, and you have to like enjoy yourself too while you're studying. Days, take a day off, go out with your friends, go out to dinner with someone or something like that. The night before the test, I had a burger and a beer, and I was in a hotel, went to the bar, got a burger, had a beer, and that helped me out, helped me calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I did similar to what Alyssa did. I kind of just looked at my dump sheet, and then maybe I studied an hour or two the week before. I went over my last Pete, and then the day before, I made plans to go out and do something because I knew if I was home, I would get anxious and want to study, and I knew I shouldn't. So I purposely made plans with friends. I went out and did something so that I didn't think about the test. It's also good to
Gone forever.
Well, not forever.
I don't know if anyone talked about like after the test. The test, you're gonna feel horrible after the test. I was miserable. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I went home and I had myself a day. Me and Jameson became a good friend. It was
I highly recommend going to Italy after. Great move. Didn't think about the test at all.
yeah. Go to Italy and get proposed to after. I think it's a good way to
A+.
Where I took a boxing class, I'd done this for like a couple years, but I did that, and that was crazy helpful leading up to the test because I could just go like blow off steam. But yeah, I think make plans for the day after the test. Maybe not the day of the test because I went home and took a nap. I was like, I can't function. Like, I'm gonna go sleep, and then the next day, like, make plans and like do stuff to just kind of like get your mind off of it.
Yeah, definitely get your mind off it. Once you're done, try not to think about it. It's hard too. Saying that, I still thought about it. I was in Florida for the week after, and even the day of, when everyone's saying like they're posting the results, you're like finally feeling good, and then your anxiety just shoots up, waiting to see that check mark.
So when I got done taking my test, well, during the like little break you get after section 2, I don't know if you're gonna want to hear this, but I went to the bathroom, I bawled my eyes out, looked at myself in the mirror, and I was like, well, all right, you could just do it again in April, like whatever. So I kind of just like came to peace with it, and then and since it was like snowing so bad, my uncle drove me, and I got into his car afterwards, and he's like, hey, sweetie, like how'd it go? And I was like, horrible, I failed, come back in April, like whatever. I was like, this is like so bad. So then, and then I got home, whenever anybody would ask me, oh, how's your test? I'm like, don't talk to me, like I don't want to talk to you. I was so upset. And then that fades a little bit because then you're like, okay, maybe I didn't do too bad. You know, like the further out from it, and then you have to wait for your results. So like that part where you're like, oh my god, I definitely failed, definitely like dissipates a bit, and you'll feel a little bit better. But like Mike said, as soon as you see people like texting you like, oh hey, like got my results, you're gonna be like, holy crap, and like want to puke. I specifically, Lauren, I was at trivia. You're not allowed to have your phone, and I, like, during one of the breaks, they were all texting us, and the group was like, oh, I passed, and I was like, are you joking? Like, I was only logged in on my computer, so I had to wait, like, 2.5 hours after I heard all my friends, like, passed, for me to go find out. It was horrible. But either way, the results are going to be the results, so just kind of, like, afterwards, try to, you know, relax. Worst case scenario, you just take it again in April. All right, you'll be fine.
So I
yeah, no big deal.
The grand scheme of your life is nothing. You'll be fine.
Yeah, but if I fail, then I'm not working.
It's not all negative. Like I was like working, and then like I just took a day off on that Wednesday to take a test. Like when I went back to work the next day, like it's fine.
Yeah.
Like it's not all negative vibes. Like it's okay.
Yeah, you're gonna be super.
Realistically, I am like a pretty big crammer. I've always been like I stay up till like 2 a.m. with this study. So I still did that again for a test. I don't care.
Henry's like, well, I can't start studying before the night before.
So I think that's always been a big thing. So I just and then after the test, say, right, like you will feel like crap. I don't care like who you are, how much you know. Like you're gonna be nervous about it. There's gonna be questions. 500 questions. You're gonna feel like. So figure out something you want to do after and just make it happen. I think I was the Pancheros and I got wrong stuff.
I would say, like, don't Google questions. Like, don't be like, oh, I remember this one. I want to go see if I got it right. Like, I would not do that. I definitely didn't do that because I'm just not that type of person. But, like, if you're one of those people, like, you can't go back and change your answer. So you go on Google and you're going to be like, crap, I definitely got that one wrong.
Yeah,
make it worse.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
don't
gonna
do
make
that.
yourself feel worse. I think trips are nice. Try to keep yourself busy. Be around friends and family. If you need to cry, all right. Cry every night afterwards.
No cry.
I know.
I cried.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Words of advice? Any final words of advice?
When you pass, post your Venmo on your Instagram story. I had people send me a ton of money to go buy me drinks, and I think I actually like almost like $150. I was blown away. I was expecting like $2.
That's what you want to do. Yeah, hold on. Ron, better get your award, man. He is.
You can't see. I was trying to show you.
Just leave it there for a second.
Yeah, Kevin said that was the best advice he heard all night.
Right, hold on. Let me see if I can show you it again. If not, I'll just add it up for you.
Yeah, if not, just send us your Venmo. Well.
Yeah, you can send me some money. Is it working? No. But $10, $15, $5, $10, $20, $20, $10, $10, $15, $20. Like it racks up.
You're gonna have to come back up to the Dallas area, so it's not as expensive. Hey guys,
If you guys don't have any questions, I think we should thank our presenters online.
Have fun at work.
Listen, I'm still getting paid right now.
Kelly, are you in jail?
No, I'm in my room. There's just so much artwork. It's that. I don't know. Furniture finder doesn't come with the wall decorations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, you guys, online for coming. That was so helpful. Thank you.
Wow. Did we get a frame for this or what?
Yeah, hold on now.
Where are the frames at?
Wait, what were some of the awards now?
Oh, the awards? Well, let's see. There are a bunch of study buddies. There was.
Rob, what was yours?
Jesus.
Sorry. I had long hair. Very long hair.
Yeah, Rob got the.
Long and luscious.
Long and luscious.
Use 3-in-1 shampoo.
Glass half inch, glass half full. Loose tax, James Prentice. Sarcasm, most likely to be most likely to me, or be related.
I have a question. You know, you said study like you didn't like, or take tests like you've been studying. What would you say, and it is right now, but what would you say if I'm like, you know, lifting at 6 a.m. and I'm taking pre-workout the before, all that?
Oh, come on, I did a jump too, and it worked well. It did work well. Keep doing the free.
You do what? Okay, so do the same thing.
Lisa, how's your job?
Job is good. I started residency 2 months ago.
Okay. Wait, what's it like?
It's good. I have work to do after this. It's really good. I'm loving it. I'm learning lots. I have a really good mentor. He comes into the clinic probably like 2 times a week. And then on top of that, like I have grand rounds 2 times a week or 2 times a month. I have journal club. And then I have like intensive weekends. So I have an intensive weekend next week.
Okay. So is it like being in school but also working at the same time, kind of?
Yeah, but not that bad.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I want to do my neuro residency eventually, but I want to travel for a while first, so we'll get to it.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, but that's cool. I like the idea of doing a residency instead of just trying to go straight for like the get whatever hours and then take the test kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely helpful. I couldn't imagine just taking the test. I wouldn't be able to
No
do it.
way. Which one are you going for?
Ortho.
Okay, cool.
Oh, that's my
Yeah.
Do you and Pat work at the same place?
Same company, different locations.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Not too bad.
Yeah. This is the first official congrats on the engagement.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, very nice. How was Italy?
Oh, so good.
That's awesome.
I was up at I think it was 1 a.m. their time for my test results. I was just sitting there like, come on.
Yeah. I got lucky with the results because I took it a week later. And then I think I took it on a month. Was it a Tuesday, Thursday that we were allowed to take it?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe.
So I took it on a Tuesday. And the next day was the day that everyone was finding out their results. So I was like, mine's not going to be there, but like, I'm just going to check anyway. And it showed up. And I was like, no way. Like, I literally found out the next day.
That's
like,
amazing.
yeah.
I'm so jealous.
It was awesome.
Casually riddled with anxiety for a week.
Yeah. Well, me too, but on the front end. Like,
Yeah.
an extra week to be anxious before even getting to it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. It was fun. It was not a
How's
fun
work?
It's good. I'm on a SNP and I actually really like it.
That's
I was
awesome.
not expecting to. Like, I didn't really know what to expect, but I like it a lot. So
That's good.
fun
Yeah.
people.
I wouldn't expect that for you, but that's awesome.
Me either, but it's been really fun. So, and I'm doing travel, but I've been here I'll be here for almost a year by the time I leave. So
Yeah, I know. I know
But-
you said that you extended it.
yeah, I was like, I'm in the mountains. Like, I want to see all the seasons here, you know.
Yeah.
And
I get
plus,
that.
then a year of experience, and that's helpful for finding next places.
Yeah.
So I like it.
I get it.
Yeah.
I was just gonna stay and say hi to Mom.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
Where's you?
Are you going home for the holidays at all?
Yeah. Yep. I'll be home the 23rd, I think. So it's not far from here. I'm like 4 hours away. So it's not terrible. It's a little bit of a hike, but doable.
Okay. Do you have your next place lined up yet?
Not yet. I had my recruiter send me the national list of contracts so I could get an idea. I wanted to go to Colorado, but there's only like a really small handful of contracts. And I know that that's usually a harder one to get just because I don't really know why. I think they might have a lot of PT schools out there and that just like travelers. But I don't know. I would like to go to somewhere like Colorado, Utah, Washington, Oregon. Eventually, I want to go to Alaska. I don't know. I have a lot of ideas. And I don't know where I want to go next. So, yeah. The East Coast has a ton of contracts,
That's not shocking.
but then it just got super overwhelming because then it was just like this giant list, and I was like, I can't look through all of that right now. I just need to know where to apply for a couple more licenses. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
That sounds awful. I just renewed mine.
I'm not excited for that part. Wait, how often do you do it?
Every 2 years, but it's on every even year.
Yeah, I figured.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Is that
not too
where
bad.
in New Jersey?
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
it's good. It's good.
Yeah. I should probably look that up for New York.
That's what
I'm sure you'll get something in the mail.
Yeah, I'm
Or your
hoping.
parents will.
My parents will. They'll let me know.
So I might honestly just.
It's okay. I still send stuff home, and I have my own apartment.
Yeah. Are you?
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't accepted the whole I'm in New Jersey and living in New Jersey thing.
Yeah. How is it?
It's good. Minus traffic. That's not good.
Are you in like closer to the city part of New Jersey, or?
Kind of. It's like central-ish. Hi, Mo.
Hi, Mo and Kelly.
Oh, bye. Oh, Kelly, so Mrs. Lawrence never got back to me.
Okay.
I emailed Elton and Stephanie.
Okay.
I got them on WhatsApp. And Stephanie never answered. Elton said, I'm doing end of the year assessments. I'm really busy. And I was like, okay, well, I'm really busy too. So then he goes, maybe you should try emailing Grace Della or Regina, the OT.
Yeah.
And I actually had to ask for an extension that was due on Monday.
Oh.
So I filled out all the stuff about Guyana, but I was like, I really don't feel comfortable submitting an article about Guyana without having someone in Guyana verify what I'm saying is true.
Right. Yeah.
So I WhatsApped the two of them, and they both, and Regina asked me immediately. And it's like, send me all the questions and I'll send your answers.
Awesome. Okay.
So I'm going to fix that, and I'm going to send it to you guys probably either tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, just so you can review it, and I'm going to ask them to review it. So that we can, but I think we're pretty good now. So.
Okay. Do you need me to like look through, do anything?
I just need you to look through it once I send it to you.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
So.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. That was really helpful.
Yeah.
Chatting, I can just turn off the Zoom, like I'll mute the Zoom here, but you guys can continue to chat if you want. Like I don't.
No, we're good. We just wanted to say hi.
Well, it's great. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Of course.
No problem.
All right. Well, have a good night.
Thanks. You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.